In the strange and often terrifying world of Stranger Things, where gates to other dimensions open and monsters from the shadows hunt our children, the most powerful force isn't found in a government lab or a psychic's mind. It's found in the small, cluttered living room of a waitress from Hawkins, Indiana. Joyce Byers begins her story as a woman already stretched thin by life, working long hours to support her two sons, Jonathan and Will, in a modest home. She is loving but visibly tired. A single mother doing her absolute best in a town that often feels too small and too judgmental. Her world is already full of the ordinary struggles of bills and teenage angst when the unthinkable happens. Her youngest son, Will, vanishes into thin air. What follows is Joyce's journey from a mother the police dismiss as hysterical to a warrior whose unwavering belief becomes the literal key to saving her son from a monstrous alternate reality. This fierce, all-consuming love for Will is the core of her character. The blazing fire that defines her. But the true, quiet testament to the depth of Joyce Byers' heart is not just in how she fights for the family she was given, but in how deliberately and tenderly she builds a new, bigger, beautifully blended family around the traumatized boy she brings home, a boy named 11. To understand the monumental nature of this act, you have to understand where Joyce and her older son, Jonathan, were when 11 entered their lives. The events of the first season left them shattered. Will was back, but he was haunted, literally and figuratively, carrying the nightmares of the upside down inside him. Joyce was a ball of raw nerves, jumping at every flicker of a light, terrified of losing her boy again. Jonathan, always the responsible one, had shouldered the burden of being the man of the house for years, his quiet demeanor masking a deep protectiveness for his brother and a simmering anger at the world's injustices. Their home, while a place of love, was also a place of shared trauma, a fragile sanctuary trying to heal. Into this walks 11, or Elle as she comes to be known. She is not just another kid from the neighborhood. She is a scientific experiment, a child raised in a sterile lab. Taught she is a weapon, a monster. She has unimaginable psychic powers, but she has no concept of a family dinner, of a bedtime story, of a mother's hug. She is a scared, silent girl in a borrowed dress and a bad wig, with a vocabulary of a few dozen words and eyes that have seen nothing but cruelty. Mike Wheeler and his friends give her friendship and a hiding place, but what she desperately needs, what Joyce instinctively recognizes, is a mother. Joyce's nurturing of 11 isn't a grand, planned gesture. It happens in small, profound moments that speak louder than any dramatic speech. It starts with simple eye contact, a soft voice when everyone else is shouting. It's Joyce seeing past the shaved head and the terrifying powers to the trembling child within. When Elle moves into the Byers' home after the chaos of the second season, Joyce doesn't just give her a room, she gives her a foundation. She provides the normalcy Elle has never known. She teaches her the rhythms of a household. Chores, grocery shopping, setting the table. These mundane acts are revolutionary for Elle. They are lessons in belonging, in being part of a unit. Joyce's approach is practical and patient. She doesn't coddle Elle like a broken thing, she includes her like a daughter. She corrects her gently, guides her, and, most importantly, offers physical comfort. A hand on the shoulder, a warm blanket on the couch, a sincere "Are you okay?" These are alien languages of care that Joyce patiently teaches her. She becomes the steady, reassuring presence that counters the ghostly voice of Elle's papa. Where he demanded obedience and power, Joyce asks for nothing but for Elle to be safe and to heal. She becomes the anchor that grounds Elle, not just in the human world, but in her own humanity. Parallel to this, Joyce's relationship with her son Jonathan undergoes its own subtle shift, strengthening the foundation of this new family. Jonathan, the introspective photographer, is at first another protector for Elle. He is kind to her, accepting her without question because he trusts his mother and sees Elle's vulnerability. But Joyce's expansion of her heart doesn't mean less love for her biological sons. Instead, it creates a new dynamic. Jonathan, who had to grow up too fast, finds some of the weight lifted. He sees his mother not just as his struggling mum, but as a resilient, capable woman saving yet another child. This shared mission, protecting Will and now integrating Elle, brings them closer in a more adult way. They become partners in care. Joyce relies on Jonathan's steadiness, and in turn, he feels valued not just as a helper, but as a crucial part of their family's survival mechanism. Their quiet conversations in the kitchen, the worried looks they share when one of the kids is having a nightmare. These are the bonds of a team. Joyce nurtures Jonathan by trusting him, by letting him in, and by showing him that love isn't a finite resource to be hoarded, but a well that grows deeper the more you draw from it to give to others. The true test and triumph of this blended family comes in its everyday reality. This is not a picturesque, easy situation. They live in a small house. Money is tight. One son is periodically connected to a shadowy dimension, and their new daughter can collapse houses with her mind when she has a nightmare. The stress is immense, yet Joyce creates a home. She establishes routines amid the chaos. There are family meals, however simple. There are rules about using powers in the house. There is an insistence on normalcy, not as a denial of the extraordinary but as a lifeline. When Elle struggles with her identity, feeling like an outcast or a monster, Joyce is there to refute it absolutely. She doesn't love Elle despite her powers, she loves Elle, and her powers are just a part of her, like Will's love for dungeons. In Joyce, Elle finds the unshakable, unconditional maternal love she was genetically engineered and brutally trained to live without. She finds her first true home. By the time we see them preparing to leave Hawkins in the finale, the transformation is complete. The Byers household is no longer just Joyce, Jonathan, and Will. It is unmistakably a family of 4. 11 is not a guest or a foster child, she is Joyce's daughter. She calls her mum. The way they all move together, protecting each other, worrying for each other, shows a unit forged in fire. Joyce Byers' story is the ultimate testament to the fact that family is not just who you are born to, but who you choose to fight for, who you choose to comfort, and who you choose to build a life with. She saved Will from the upside down with Christmas lights and a mother's fury. But she saved 11 from a different kind of void, the void of loneliness and being unloved, with patience, with grocery runs, and with a relentless, quiet kindness. In a story about monsters and heroes, Joyce Byers proves that the most heroic act of all is to open your wounded heart and your crowded home to one more lost child. And in doing so, to build something stronger, stranger, and more beautiful than anything the lab or the upside down could ever imagine. She built a family, piece by piece, love by love, and in that act, she became the unwavering center of the entire story.